Welcome back to round 2 of AFC Outdoors, coming to you from fabulous Nambucca Heads. A picture-perfect place for our pros today, with plenty of options on the Nambucca River, as we see Scotty Towner from Team Berkeley moving upstream already to find position number 2. From the air, Darren Dizzy Borg moving downstream. For more information on the arena, here's Steve Starling.
Nambucca Heads is located in northern New South Wales, midway between Sydney and Brisbane. The subtropical climate makes it the ideal location for offshore, beach and estuary fishing. It's also the meeting point of 4 creeks and rivers that run into the Pacific Ocean, making it the perfect spot to catch bream, whiting and some sizable flathead. Although the river runs only a cast away from the Pacific Highway, it has a reputation for producing large numbers of bream, and it's an ideal place to learn the art of catching bream on lures. Mangroves, fallen trees and rock walls line the banks of this pristine waterway, but it's the man-made structures where our pros are most likely to succeed. Bridge pylons, pontoons, boats and oyster leases offer the pros ample opportunities to land the bigger bream that they'll need to win this event.
This is the AFC's very first visit to the beautiful Nambucca River in northern New South Wales, and it's also our first serious encounter with floating oyster racks. Now, these constructions, these rafts of drums and hanging cages, are very different to the oyster racks that we're used to. They're real bream magnets, but they're going to call for different techniques from our anglers, and they're also going to require some pinpoint casting.
And testing out his pinpoint casting on one of those floating racks is the Duff man from Team Club Marine. Steve, what can you tell us about our bream rookie?
Steve Duff qualified for this Australian Fishing Championships by winning the Bream Grand Final in 2006 at Ballina. He's a sales rep for Strike Pro and Tika Tackle, and he's even got his own range of rods and lures he's been using so well in this tournament to date.
And we're up close and personal with Steve Duff. And Starlo mentioned pinpoint accuracy. That is a classic example. An hour and a quarter into the competition, he's caught 2 smaller fish, but still searching for his first keeper.
Ooh. Yeah, he's on it again, and there we go. I'll grab the net for this one. And hopefully he's big enough. I think he'll be size.
As we look at the Ford Ranger replay, Steve Duff, like all of our pros, casting in between the floating racks. The more times he can get his lure in that shade zone, the more bites he's going to get.
Starlo, how different are these oyster racks here that we're used to seeing, like for somewhere in Foster?
Look, these floating racks, you do need to fish them a little bit differently. Often they're moored up in quite deep water, and all the action is typically right up underneath the floats and underneath those hanging cages rather than down near the bottom. So the fish tend to be very close to the surface. A lot of times with your polarised sunglasses you can actually see fish in there, but it's really important to get the lure as close as you possibly can to the structure. Oh, and the fish will come out and have a go at it.
There's
like one just did then.
there.
Yeah, there's some fish in here. It's also important to look at what the tide's doing. We've got a run-out tide here. The fish tend to accumulate towards the up-current end of the structure. If you think of it like a boat pushing into the current, they'll be up near the bow. I love fishing these things.
Here's our first look at Tim Morgan from Team Humminbird. He has been the AFC's most successful bream pro.
Tim Morgan is also the first AFC angler to qualify for both the bream and the bass sides of AFC. A lot of you may not know that Tim Morgan started tournament fishing for bass. So when you hear the words Tim the Bream, it may not necessarily mean that's all he's good at catching.
Yep, good bream. Oh, sorry, mate. Almost hit the camera in with it, got a bit excited, but he only had it. I wanted to just flick him straight in the boat, so that's definitely a legal fish there. No time to worry about the net, I was just too keen to get him in.
Team Humminbird on the board, something Scotty Towner from Team Berkeley hasn't yet managed to do. Still fishing some of those floating leases. Daryl Beattie is down with him.
Scotty, how's it going?
No, it's tough, Daryl. Yesterday it was fish after fish. Every sort of lease you pulled up to, you'd cast in, fish would just swarm the lure and you'd pull one out and move on to the next one. But today you throw in there and you see them and they all just scatter. So it's tough.
Starlo's been mentioning that the flow seems a little slow at the moment. It may pick up as it comes on.
Yeah, I thought it would have been flowing well by now, but No, it's not, and the water actually looks a little bit dirtier than yesterday. Yesterday there was a really good greenish grey sort of colour to the water, and today it's a sort of a browny chocolatey colour, but it might pick up a bit better later on.
They say Nambucca's tough.
It is tough, yeah. It wasn't yesterday. I wish the comp was yesterday. I would have cleaned up, I think, but yeah, today it's changed around totally.
Go get them.
Thank you.
Down at the opposite end of the arena, the water is clearer and it's flowing, and that's where we find Darren Borg.
Just want that big brim to come along and grab it at the moment. That's what we need. There we go. There's a fish. Oh, he's gone. And he's back on.
Lucky break there for Dizzy. Often these brim down near the mouths of the rivers hang in big schools. That fish he's hooked, it's fallen out of his mouth, and another one in the school has grabbed onto it. Dizzy is on for what might be his first legal fish.
Can't win today.
Come in for a couple, mate.
I think that'd be a good idea. I'm not getting any fish at the moment. Finally catch a decent fish. That was a pretty good fish. I don't know if it was a brim or not, but took one big lunge there right at the end and just popped me line.
Time for another break on AFC Outdoors. When we return, the brim and the pros get moving.